Okay, so 10.1, this is another, like, we're going to do another short section, do a quiz, not a full test, okay? Don't get freaked out by this word here. So polynomials, okay, all it means is an expression that has more than one part. So like this, or like 8x to the second plus 2x. You don't have to write this. So how many parts would you say that expression has? Like 2, okay? So poly just means multiple, just has more than one part, okay? You don't have to write that. I was just showing you an example. Okay, so on this page, there's not a whole lot that you have to solve, not really looking at anything there. The only thing you might need to know is the degree of a polynomial, right, is the greatest, it's the biggest exponent. So we'll look at that in just a minute on how we like write them. All right, so just the next page there, so 546, so flip the page. All right, and down here at the bottom is where we're skipping to example 2. So it says standard form of a polynomial. So to write a polynomial in standard form, so I'm reading this right here, rewrite the terms in order from the greatest degree, so that is the biggest exponent, okay? So it says the greatest degree, whatever exponent's the biggest, to at least the least degree, all right? So let's look at A. So if you look at each of these parts, like I would say it has 4 parts to that expression. Which one has the biggest exponent?
B.
The B, all right? So we want to put that first. Okay, look real close here for just a second. When I split these up, so let's draw a line in front of them. See how I kept that sign right in front of it with the number or the term? That one in front of it stays with that one. So that makes this B negative b to the third. Okay, I'm going to mark that off so I know I did it. What's the next biggest one?
B2.
So I'm going to do negative 10b to the second. So I'm not solving anything here. I'm just rewriting it in what's considered like standard form. Okay? So I'm done with that one. Which one would be next? 5b, because that actually has an exponent of 1, remember. But you don't need to write the 1. Now, would that be plus or minus 5? Plus, because there's nothing there. It's a positive. And then lastly, it's just going to be your regular numbers. So the 35. All right. Flip the page to 547. I know we skip around a lot on these, but there's a lot of stuff you guys don't need. So example 3. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to look today at adding and subtracting polynomials. I'm going to write some steps on the right. If you want to write them with me, if you want to take a picture of them, you may need to kind of look back at them, all right? So for adding and subtracting polynomials, here are your steps. I didn't feel like they gave a good explanation, so I wanted to give you kind of in words what you're... So you're going to, 1, rewrite without parentheses. So I'm just going to put the parentheses, okay? Distribute, I'll say and distribute. If you need. Okay, so I'm going to like show you one step and then show you what that is. Tori? So if we look, here's the question. So I'm looking at A. All right. See how this has parentheses, but there's not a number outside of it? So if there's not, it's kind of like there being a 1 there. So if I distribute just a positive 1, would that change anything? No. So we're just going to, this one, we're just going to rewrite it without the parentheses, okay? So over to the side here, all right, 3x squared minus 4 plus, what could I put on the x squared since it doesn't have a coefficient or a number at the front? 1x squared minus 9. Okay, so I rewrote it without parentheses. Okay, your second step is identify like terms. So identify like terms. Okay, and here like terms must have same variable, so the same letter, and the same exponent. So like x to the third and x to the second are not like terms. So I'll give you just a second there and then we'll try that. All right, so if we try this, I identify my like terms by like circling the ones that go together. So like, now I want to start with the biggest exponent like we did standard form. So 3x to the second. What other one goes with that? 1x. And I always circle the sign with it. That way I know what I'm doing with that. So that's like 3 plus or minus 1? Plus. So I just add the numbers. Okay. So 3 and 1 gives us 4. And I keep the variable in the exponent. Nope, because you're just adding them. If you're multiplying, it would be different because we learned all those exponent rules. But for adding, you just kind of keep those together. I will write this over here. So, oops. So I guess that would be our step 3 would be add slash subtract. And those numbers are technically called the coefficients. You can think, if you want to just write number, that's fine. So add, subtract coefficients. And what did we keep? So we got 4x squared. We kept the what?
The top.
Like this. What do we call the letter?
Base.
It is a base also, but yeah. So variable and the exponent. See how we kept the two the same? And I always do it in order of the biggest exponent. That way you don't have to worry about standard form. It's already in standard form. Okay? All right, so let's see what else. So what other like terms? The 4 and the 9. And I usually do those that look like a different shape. So then I would do these like with a square. So be careful here. Now, I would read this or in your calculator. So if you want to do this on the calculator, you would do -4. And what would we type since that's a -9?
A negative, positive.
You could do plus -9 or just -4 minus 9. That's going to be the same thing. Okay? So what does that give us? -13. So I can put just -13. Also correct would be plus -13. Okay? As long as that negative is still in front of your 13 somehow. Okay? So do we have any questions on that first one? Any questions?
Hey, stay there real quick, or I can write it down.
Okay. All right, let's take 2 minutes and you guys try B.
Interesting.
Okay?
Alright.
Yeah, here. If you want to mark that off and just,
Oh.
they don't set it up the way
Alright.
where you're really used to. So if it helps you to rewrite it without parentheses, it'd be like this. What can I put in front of that -x squared? A 1. Does that help you guys like keep track of it? Kinda? Okay.
Yeah, it helps me.
I like to have it. All right, then pick out your, so we said the -1x squared. What goes with that?
Oh, the 2x too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go ahead and combine those. That's -1 plus 2. So what would that be?
1.
Yeah. So 1x squared, and you could just write x squared if you want. Either way.
Wait, why didn't we circle the 4x?
because it has to have the same variable and the same exponent. So is there anything to go with the 4x?
No.
No, so I will just write that right down here.
But the 9 and the 8 be go.
Okay, so you can do a triangle if you want around those. So 8 minus 9 would give us what? Careful. Negative. Good. Okay. So, and I always check at the end, like, do we have any more like terms there? Do they have, any of them have the same variable and the same exponent? Nope. And then make sure it's in order. Like, start with a big variable, go down from there.
That wasn't hard.
Okay?
So that's, I was feeling you're about to make it
That's
harder,
all.
though.
We're going to do subtraction, but it's pretty much the same.
Are we doing?
So subtracting is the only parts left. If this helps you to mark this off, if that's confusing, you can do that. They're trying to give you steps, but I think it looks a little more confusing too. Okay, the part that's different on subtracting, so watch close there. See how the subtraction is in the middle? So before we said this is like a 1 right here. Ron, are you watching? But now if that's like a negative 1, if you distribute a negative 1, what does it do to those numbers?
I don't know.
They become negative or they're opposite, okay? So if you distribute a negative, negative 1, numbers become opposite, okay? So let's rewrite that. Now, did I distribute anything to the 6x minus 11?
No, there's nothing there.
No, so just rewrite that. 6x minus 11. Okay, so Rihanna, if I distribute negative 1 to 2x, what does that 2x become? Opposite.
Are those 11s or 2? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Just right here.
Okay,
So,
oh yeah, you distribute that 1.
okay, so 2x, what's the opposite of 2x?
4x. Oh, my bad. Wait, what was the opposite? Would it be 1x?
I don't know it either, so I ain't.
Negative 2x. All right, now this one is negative 1 distributed to negative 19. So make it the opposite. So the opposite of negative 19 would be
Positive 19.
positive 19.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we start picking out our like terms. So what would go with the 6x?
2.
Now what kind of 2 though?
Negative.
Negative 2. So 6 minus 2x. 6x minus 2x would give you 4x. Good. And then you can mark those off if that helps you. Now negative 11 plus 19. I would type those in if you want to be like certain. If you can do it in your head, that's fine. But
No.
positive, because 19's bigger. 8.
Let's go, baby.
Good. Okay. All right, so let's rewrite it. Okay, you have to be careful about the negative here. So that's going to change the signs of these, but it doesn't change the sign of the first set, okay? All right, so let's rewrite. So does the first set of parentheses change? Lane, is this first set going to change? Is there anything distributed to this? Nope, so rewrite. So copy that down. Z squared plus 2z minus 5. Okay, Abby, what's the 9 going to be now?
For that one?
Mm-hmm.
Negative 9.
Negative 9z. Libby, what will the 3z squared be?
I cannot put the mouse back on my ear.
If you multiply it by negative 1, what's that do to it? Makes it opposite. So what's its opposite?
What are you talking about? Are you talking about the negative?
This one. What's the opposite of that?
3.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If you guys want to put a 1 there. So
10.1.
then, Haley, what would be our biggest exponent there? What's the biggest exponent?
The first one.
Do you see how this one has a 2? So there's no 3's, right? So that could, all right, what would, if we put this with it, so what would that be now? So 1z squared plus 3z squared. So what do we have now? Mm-hmm. Okay, next. Maya, which one do we have to put next? Like which would we combine next?
Did everybody in Central get 2Z?
2z and okay, so then 2 minus 9 would give us what?
2 minus 9 would give you 7.
What kind of 7?
Negative 7.
Yes, so negative 7z. So now I did those. So what do I have left to simplify there?
5.
And is there any like terms to go with it?
No.
Nope, so I just put it over here. Okay, remember standard form. Okay, so homework turn to 551. Yes. All right, there's 10 questions total. You're gonna, Libby, circle 10, 12, 16, 20, 24. Okay, that's all for that page, and then I'll flip the page. They're on the board too, but okay, and then 28, 30, 34, 36, 44. Okay, I'm going to show you two things on, one on 36. So if you look at 36, I just drew this picture on mine. So it says it's talking about envelopes. Well, what shape are envelopes?
Rectangle.
Rectangle. So I drew a rectangle. Okay. And it says that the width is X. So the width is technically the smaller side. So I put that there. Okay. And then the length is always 4 centimeters more than double the width. You'll have an area one on your test, but they give you these. So it's 2 is, like times 2 is double, right? So 2x plus 4. All right, so if that's a rectangle, what is this side over here? X. And then the one above it would be the 2x plus 4. And then perimeter. So who remembers what perimeter means? What's perimeter?
The area around the
Yes.
block.
So all you're going to do is you're going to add those 4. Okay? So perimeter, you just add all the sides. So I'll write that.
So we gonna
Add all 4 sides.
10, 12, 16,
You do not have to do B.
15, 20, excuse
Okay.
me.
I will leave that up there.